Hail and welcome to Midwest Magic.
I'm Lua.
And I'm Lily.
Today is Wicca 101. It's going to be good times. And what is Wicca? Wicca is a sex cult, which is great. It's fun. And we're not having massive orgies, although I guess if you want to, maybe I'll think about it. But it is not massive orgies. It is celebrating the differences between the sexes, biosex or not. Different conversation for a different day.
Yeah.
Different traditions have different views on it. Ours is just like, you do you, baby. Also worship 1, 2, 3, 20 gods and goddesses, or Lord and Lady. Certain traditions say certain ways. Some of them have certain gods and goddesses. Other ones are more free and liberal, and you get to choose what you want, baby. Essentially, though, it is a ritualized tradition that worships more than one deity. Traditionally, not every cult worships more than one. You do find the ones that still do.
Yeah. Speaking of traditions, there are a lot of traditions. Some of the more well-known would be Gardenerian. I'm pretty sure everyone's heard that at least once. But the thing about Gardenerian Wicca is that it is very secretive. If you walked up to a Gardenerian Wiccan and said, "Hey, are you a Gardenerian?"
Nah.
What
is that?
They're probably going to react very similar to what she did. Or, say, "Oh, I'm not pagan. I'm not Wiccan."
What's Gardenerian?
And that, again, is due to the secretive nature of their tradition.
I actually believe they're still one of the ones that you have to ask 3 times to even
get
a teacher.
I believe, they're very traditional, in a sense.
British.
Also, another just fun little tidbit. They are not allowed to take their Book of Shadows out of the temple.
Secret.
Very secret. That is how secret they are. Moving on. Another one is Dianic, which is goddess worship. Dianic, the goddess Diana.
It's not the only one they worship, but...
Yeah, it gets its name from the goddess Diana. Also, Alexandrian, which is kind of a good... Yeah, in between. They worship the Lord and the Lady. They do worship both. They're more open than the Gardenerian. It's pretty, straightforward. And then, of course, there's our tradition, Triskelion, which, we worship the Lord and the Lady. And we were one of the first mainstream traditions to incorporate a third one, which we call the Brotherhood, which is our dead, our ancestors, great teachers, great warriors who have come before us. It can be a pretty powerful invocation for a circle.
Essentially, anybody that you can venerate. It doesn't have to be biologically or DNA related to you.
Right.
It can be anybody. It can be Emily Dickinson.
Yeah. Or, if you're feeling the need to be inspired to great music,
Bob Marley.
Elvis, Bob Marley, anybody, really.
Anybody that's dead.
Anybody that's dead that you would consider a great teacher or influencer.
There's also solitary and eclectic Wicca. The main difference between the two is one of them is done alone and the other one can be done in groups. But
she probably
solidify
which is which.
Solitary by yourself. Eclectic can be either or. It's kind of like bisexuals. I digress. They essentially make the rules up as they go, or they can follow some other form of tradition that they loosely hold and kind of blend multiple different types of Wicca or paganism in general. That's where you'll see the Christian Wicca, the shamanistic Wicca,
The
Shinto Wicca, stuff like that.
a new one that I've heard of recent is the atheist Wicca.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if any of you are atheist Wiccan, if you could drop a short description in the comments for me, I would love to actually, like,
Talk.
know more about that. And I am not saying that it's bad at all. I've never heard of it and I want to know how it works.
So with traditions, there are chords / degrees depending on what your tradition is. Chords are just a physical representation, essentially, of you passing a degree. A degree is essentially like first grade, second grade, third grade, etc., etc.
Or kind of like Taekwondo belts.
Yeah. Saying that you've mastered this, you've mastered X, therefore you get to go to the next level. You get to continue on to the next stage.
I believe that there are actually some traditions that have more than 3 degrees, which it's very few and far between. But
there are some that have none.
And there are some that have none. I guess it really just all depends on the tradition itself.
Normally, like, the first degree is like teaching or learning, an initiatory degree of terms and ideas, things to think about. What is magic? Kind of like what we're teaching you, except for you don't get a special chords.
Yeah, we're not going to hand out degrees for this. We're just here to help you along the way. We're your fairy god witches.
Some of the terms that we've used, coven. A coven is a group of like-minded people. They're not necessarily in the same tradition. Again, i.e. eclectic. They don't have to be in a tradition, but they have similar ideas and they want to work magic together or meet together and talk about the Lord, the Lady, magic.
Kind of however they see fit. And really, you know, a coven is... It's really just the people. It's the people that make the coven, not the tradition or what they practice.
Traditionally, in a coven, the phrase is in perfect love and perfect trust. So you don't want to enter a coven, or even a circle, in my opinion, with somebody that you can't trust perfectly. If you think person Y is a lying, cheating person, then why would you want to mingle your energies and potentially get something negative that was following them to follow you?
Yeah. So it is definitely, you know, important to keep that in mind. You know, if you are going to practice with other people, or even, honestly, I actually follow this in my everyday life. If I don't trust my friends, then I don't necessarily consider them friends. Lua, I trust very much. I would trust her with my life.
Which is why we're in a coven.
Yeah. But again, you know, it can be applied to all aspects of your life. And it's actually very helpful in the mundane.
Oh, yeah. Another term is ritual. Again, we haven't described any terms that we use. Ritual is a fancy way of saying you need a circle, which is a form of protection against the mundane world, to cast a spell. So in that instance, casting a circle is a way to keep outside energies out and inside energies in, and working correctly with each other. You see this being a big thing with larger group rituals, especially if you have a larger coven. You'll see specific titles used for people to make sure the energy is working and the circle is protected still within the working that's being done within the ritual space.
The reason why this is so important, especially for bigger rituals, is because you are channeling and gathering so much energy that naturally other entities are going to be attracted to it, you know, kind of like a moth to a flame. And these entities, 9 times out of 10, are not something that you want attached to what you're doing. It could spoil or poison or ruin the thing that you set out to do for ritual.
The other thing is, on top of that, you don't want to be trying to do a working and have to also worry about getting attacked from the outside.
And that is why a lot of covens have specific people who their only focus during ritual is the circle, the security of the circle, the maintenance of the circle, and the energy of the circle.
They're actually called Tylers.
Yeah.
Like the person Tyler, like with a capital T-Y.
Some traditions do have different words for them, but it's commonly called a Tyler.
Sometimes they have a cool sword.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
I think that pretty much covers it for Wicca 101. We will link some useful resources below the video, and also our one social media that we do have set up, which is our Instagram, where we plan on down the road setting up a Twitter.
Not all Wiccans practice magic. Fun fact. Fun fact of the day.
Yeah. That is definitely true. I practice magic.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of people that practice magic and don't know about it. They just do it.
And we have a different word for those.
Well, you'll find that out next week.
All right. Blessed be witches until the next video.